Why did the turkey join the band? Because it had the drumsticks. There's nothing like a good joke to set the tone for a festive feast. And speaking of feasts, we're here to talk about one that's celebrated with gusto across the United States every fourth Thursday of November. Yes, you guessed it, Thanksgiving is on the menu today. But what's the main course, you ask? Well, it's not just turkey and cranberry sauce. Now that we've shared a laugh, let's take a closer look at Thanksgiving and its origins. The first Thanksgiving was a feast in 1621, shared by the English Pilgrims who founded Plymouth Colony and the Wampanoag Native Americans. Now, let's rewind the clock a bit and delve into the beginnings of this beloved holiday. The Pilgrims, who had crossed the Atlantic Ocean in the Mayflower, celebrated the first Thanksgiving after their first successful corn harvest. But this wasn't just a spontaneous party, it was deeply rooted in their religious traditions back in England. You see, these Pilgrims were separatists, a group that had distanced themselves from the Church of England. They brought with them a tradition of days of fasting and days of thanksgiving. During their hard times, they fasted and prayed. And when good times came, like a successful harvest, they thanked God. This tradition continued over the years, celebrated at different times in different colonies. It wasn't until the year 1789 that Thanksgiving had a chance at becoming a national holiday. It was in this year that the first President of the United States, George Washington, proclaimed a national day of Thanksgiving. However, it wasn't officially recognized as a recurring holiday. Fast forward to the year 1863, in the midst of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national day of Thanksgiving to be held each year on the last Thursday of November. This was largely due to the persistent advocacy of a woman named Sarah Josepha Hale, who spent 17 years writing letters to politicians advocating for a national day of Thanksgiving. And so the tradition of Thanksgiving was solidified. A day for families to gather, to share a meal, and to give thanks. A day that was born out of the religious traditions of a group of English pilgrims and has since become one of the most cherished customs in the United States. So, Thanksgiving has deep roots in American history, but did you know it also has connections to an ancient Jewish festival? Sukkot, or the Festival of Tabernacles, is a holy day appointed by God for all of his children that back thousands of years. This tradition holds a unique place in the Jewish faith and is joyfully celebrated annually as a time of gratitude. Historically, Sukkot marks the 40-year period during which the children of Israel were journeying in the desert, dwelling in temporary shelters. These shelters, or sukkahs, signify the fragility and temporary nature of life and serve as a reminder of our ancestors' expedition and God's provision in that era. But Sukkot isn't only a time for reflection. It's also a time for jubilation. For 7 days, families unite in their sukkahs to eat, drink, and rejoice. It is a festival that fosters family and friendship, a time for community and connection. The sukkahs are adorned with fruits and vegetables, a symbol of the harvest and God's generous blessings. Apart from its historical importance, Sukkot encapsulates a deeper spiritual essence. As one of the 3 biblically mandated festivals, Jews were instructed to make a pilgrimage to the temple in Jerusalem during Sukkot. It's a time to reminisce God's faithfulness and to peer into the future with hope. Now, let's delve into the rituals. The most well-known is the waving of the lulav and etrog. Lulav is a collection of palm, myrtle, and willow branches, and the etrog is a citrus fruit. Together they serve as a representation of all types of people, irrespective of their knowledge or observance. This ritual underscores unity, a core theme, Sukkot. Sukkot is a festival that harmonizes history, faith, joy, and community. It's a time to remember, to celebrate, and to look ahead. It's a time to sit in the sukkah under the starry sky and express gratitude for the blessings of the past year. But you might be wondering, how are Sukkot and Thanksgiving related? We'll delve into that in the next part of our Stay Tuned as we unravel the ties and perhaps gain a fresh perspective on our cherished Thanksgiving tradition. While Thanksgiving and Sukkot might appear to be vastly different, they share more in common than you might think. Let's delve into the heart of these 2 holy celebrations. Thanksgiving, a holiday that is now associated with turkey, family gatherings, and football, has deep roots in the early days of America. The Pilgrims, Religious separatists from England commemorated the first Thanksgiving as a day of expressing thanks for the blessing of the harvest, appointed by God for his children. On the other side of the globe, and centuries prior, the Jewish festival of Sukkot was observed. This festival, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles, is a week-long celebration of the fall harvest, during which people construct temporary shelters or sukkahs, symbolic of the 40 years the Israelites wandered in the desert. These two holy days might seem different at first, but with a closer look, you'll see that they both share common God-appointed roots. Both Thanksgiving and Sukkot are celebrations of the harvest, times when God's children come together to rejoice in the bounty of the land, expressing their gratitude for the harvest. Furthermore, both holidays stress the importance of community within God's children. During Sukkot, families and friends gather in the sukkah to share meals and enjoy fellowship. Likewise, Thanksgiving is centered around loved ones gathering, sharing a meal and reflecting on the blessings of the past year. There are theories that suggest the Pilgrims may have drawn inspiration from Sukkot when establishing Thanksgiving. Being religious people, they would have been well versed with the Bible and its holy days. Is it plausible that they borrowed from Sukkot, a festival of gratitude and fellowship, to establish a similar tradition in their new home? We can't say with certainty. Yet it's intriguing to ponder over the potential links between these two God-appointed traditions, each with their unique histories and customs, but sharing similar themes of gratitude, community, and harvest. So and Sukkot, two God-appointed days from differing cultures and times, share a common thread of gratitude and fellowship. Now imagine a future where Thanksgiving, like Sukkot, is celebrated globally. A world where we all pause from our daily hustle and bustle to come together and give thanks for the blessings of life. This isn't a far-fetched idea, but rather a prophecy foretold centuries ago. In the heart of the Old Testament, the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verses 16 to 17, the prophet Zechariah envisions a time when all nations will come together to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. This 7-day festival, also known as Sukkot, is a time of joy and gratitude, a time to remember our blessings and give thanks. Zechariah's prophecy paints a picture of unity and shared celebration. It tells of a time when every nation from every corner of the globe will come to Jerusalem to celebrate Sukkot. Everyone, regardless of their background or beliefs, will participate in this grand celebration of thankfulness and community. Now, what if we apply this prophecy to Thanksgiving? What if, just as Sukkot is foreseen to be celebrated globally, Thanksgiving too becomes a universal tradition? A day when people from all walks of life in every nation come together to give thanks. Thanksgiving, like Sukkot, is more than just a day for feasting. It's a time for gratitude, for remembering our blessings, and for strengthening our sense of community. It's a day when we put aside our differences and come together in a spirit of thankfulness. In a world that often seems divided, the idea of a global Thanksgiving is a beacon of hope. It holds the promise of unity, of shared celebration, and of a renewed sense of community. It's a vision of a world where gratitude and thankfulness are not confined to one day or one nation, but are celebrated universally and continuously. So let's take a moment to reflect on this idea. Let's imagine a world where Thanksgiving, like Sukkot, is a global celebration. A world where we all come together to give thanks, to celebrate our blessings, and to strengthen our sense of community. In the spirit of Thanksgiving and Sukkot, let's remember to cultivate gratitude and community, not just today, but every day. As we conclude our exploration of the history and significance of Thanksgiving and Sukkot, let's pause momentarily to ponder the mutual themes that bind these two observances. Both are God's holy days for all of his children. At their essence, both Thanksgiving and Sukkot are festivities of gratitude. They provide a moment to halt and acknowledge the abundance we possess, the results of our hard work, and the blessings that life has granted us. They are moments to express our thankfulness, not solely for the materialistic things we own, but also for the intangible gifts like love, camaraderie, and community that truly enrich our existence. These celebrations further underline the significance of community. Thanksgiving, with its extensive family gatherings, and Sukkot, with its communal meals in the sukkah, highlight the reality that we are never alone. We are part of a wider community, a global family, and these celebrations provide us an opportunity to fortify these connections. Moreover, both these holidays are deeply embedded in history and tradition. They link us to our heritage, aiding in comprehending our roots and providing us a sense of continuity and connection to our forebears. Therefore, we anticipate the next Thanksgiving, or Sukkot. Let's recall their authentic essence, regardless of whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving, Sukkot, or just a day of gratitude. Remember, it's not about the turkey or the tabernacles, it's about uniting and expressing appreciation. Wishing everyone a blessed holiday season.